Hello, everyone, and welcome to our 9th Zoom technology class. I hope you are all doing well, despite the, I'm not sure where everyone is, but it is not such great weather where I am. But I hope that you are you're enjoying your day, and I'm very excited about today's class. This is actually our 9th Zoom class out of 10. We're almost at the end, guys, and it's starting to wrap down. This is going to be a fun class. We have a lot planned for today. And just to begin, I want to set a few reminders. First of all, if you would like to contribute something throughout the class, ask a question, say a relevant comment, please raise your hand virtually. You could do this on your phone by clicking on More and then clicking on Raise Hand, or on your computers by clicking on Participants and then clicking on Raise Hand, and you could do either of these. And then finally, if you have not joined our WhatsApp chat, please make sure you do this today and reach out to me if you have any questions about that process. But that's something that has to be done as soon as possible. So please make sure that if you are not in that chat already, you reach out to me after this class when you have a chance. All right. So what are we going to be doing today? So for those of you who were here last week, we learned, our lesson was on online banking. We learned how to use online banking, the Stocks app, Venmo, and Apple Wallet, a few programs on your phones and computers that you could use to make payments and manage your payments online. And today, we are going to teach you how to manage your computer in the most efficient way possible. It actually revolves around 10 tips that we're going to look at that all give you kind of small, important tips of what you could do on your computer in order to manage it in the most efficient way possible. This is a lesson that we taught last semester as well. So if you were here there, you have kind of a head start. But we are going to get started with our first tip, which is keep it clean. And I'm going to pass it over to Julia.
Okay, so on your computer, on the bottom right corner of your desktop, you have a trash icon, which allows you to delete any files or pictures or apps that are on your computer that you no longer want to use. So the way that you would use this trash icon is by dragging anything that you no longer want into the trash. That would delete it, and if you ever needed it again, you could just open up the trash and find it. So here, if Joe drags something from his desktop into the trash, you could see that it goes into the trash, which means that this file was now deleted. But if Joe accidentally deleted it and wanted to recover it, he could click on the trash and scroll through all of his deleted files in order to find what he just deleted. Now, if your trash is full of files and you don't want to have them, you just want your trash to be empty, you could see on the top right corner is an empty button. If you press that empty button, everything in your trash will be cleared permanently. So you'll no longer be able to recover any of your old files that you put in there, and they will be permanently deleted. So unless you have a reason to permanently delete your files, there's usually no purpose unless you need storage on your computer or you just want to clear all of the files in your trash. But otherwise, you're easily able to recover them by right-clicking on the file and pressing Put Back, and that will return the file to your computer and take it out of the trash.
Great. So it is important to note that the computer kind of gives you like a backup option. So when you delete something, it's put in the trash, but it's not gone forever, right? It's waiting in the trash, and you could always retrieve it. Your final and your last attempt to get that file back is by taking it out of the trash before emptying it. So you have two tries. You could put it in the trash and then empty the trash. Once you've emptied it, everything in there is gone. You're not seeing that ever again. Just because you deleted something doesn't mean, if you're trying to save storage, sometimes having files in your trash still take up storage. So every once in a while, you should be emptying your trash, getting rid of what is in there, so your computer stays clean. All right, Joe, let's go back to the presentation. And the next thing we're going to look at tip number 2 on your computers is called quitting your apps. And what this means is that anytime you're finished using, let's say, the internet or email or a program on your computer, people typically click on the X, which is that red circle all the way at the top left of the screen, and that X's out of the app, and it takes you back to the home screen. So people think that is fine. But what that actually means is that this app is still running behind the scenes. Even if you don't see it wide open on your computer screen, it is still running behind the scenes. So if Joe goes back to his computer screen, I'm going to show you how you could do this and how you identify whether an app has been quit or not. So first of all, if you look at the bottom of the screen, you see how Joe has all his different icons, all those applications at the bottom. And below a few of them, you might see like a little dot. Below a few of them, you might see like a little dot. I see one below Google Chrome, one below Zoom. There are a few dots right below those icons. And that means that although you do not see anything open right now, those apps have not been quit yet. Those apps are still running behind the scenes. And especially if your computer is battery run, which many of the laptops are, it might drain your battery, especially because these apps are open and running without you actually seeing the apps. So here's how you could do this. So Joe, if you could open, let's say an app, which we could use as our example. Okay, so Joe has this app open. Now, as you can see at the top left, we have our red, our yellow, and our green buttons. And to X out of the app, the red would be fine. Now, to quit out of the app, there's 2 ways depending on what computer you have. If you have an Apple computer, whether it's an Apple laptop, an Apple desktop, any computer made by Apple, you are clicking on Command and Q. Those are 2 buttons on your keyboard. So there's a button that says Command and then the letter Q. So you're first going to click on Command and then Q, but you're clicking on them really at the same time. You're not letting go of Command before you hit Q. So you're hitting both of those buttons at the same time. And once you do that, which Joe's going to do now, you're going to see the app is going to disappear from the screen, and you're no longer going to see that little dot below the icon. Now, to check and make sure all your apps are deleted, there's actually a shortcut. You can click on the Apple, which is all the way at the top left of your screen. It's the farthest top, all the way to the left. And if you click on that, you'll see an option that says Force Quit towards the middle of that menu bar. And if you click on that, it will show you all the apps that you have not quit yet. So Joe, if you click on that, you could see that Google Chrome and Zoom and Finder are 3 apps that Joe has not quit yet. And to quit them, you just have to click on it. You see it now, Zoom is highlighted in blue, and then click on Force Quit at the bottom right. Now, Finder, it's important to note, you can never quit Finder. The Finder is what makes up your desktop. So the Finder, you'll never be able to quit. You'll always see a dot below Finder. So no matter how much you try, you won't be able to get rid of that dot there. But for all applications, even if you don't do it every time, I definitely recommend every once in a while checking back your apps and making sure that they are all deleted. Okay, let's go back to our presentation. And Julia is now going to show you tip number 3, which is notes.
Okay, so on all Apple computers, there is an app called Notes that allows you to essentially write down any quick reminders or short notes that you want to store on your computer. You can make maybe a grocery list or type up any sort of thing that you need to. So if Joe goes on his computer now, I'll show you the Notes app. It sort of looks like a notepad, and if you type into this, you can create all sorts of notes on your computer. So in order to create a new note, there is the square with a pen. It looks like a pen and paper, and this is where you would create a new note. So if you click on that button, it's now giving Joe the blinking cursor, so he's able to type a new note out. And there's also options on top of how you want to format the text, if you want to add an image. And this is basically just a quick way that you can keep notes on your computer.
Okay. Notes is in fact a program that you can only get on Apple computers. There is a similar program on PC and Windows computers, and that is called Sticky Notes. It works the same way, but that's the name of the program that you can get on any computer that's not made by Apple. And you could access this by searching it into the search bar, which on all PC computers, there's like a search bar at the bottom left. And by typing in Sticky Notes, you will get the same type of program where you could just type in different notes and reminders on your computer screen. I will now type that information into the chat. And I also wrote that for quitting your apps on a PC computer, instead of hitting Command Q, you're hitting on Control Q. So really anytime on a PC that we say the word command today, it switches to control. Okay, let's go to tip number 4. Okay, Stacks is a really useful program. It's very, very cool. And this is mainly helpful for if you have a lot of files on your computer screen, kind of messy, and not really organized. As you can see on the screen, in the picture behind the screen, you see that there are all these pictures and files and documents that don't look very organized. And Stacks is a very easy way to take all these pictures and files and organize them for you. So you don't have to make folders, you don't have to drag them anywhere. Stacks will do all that busy work for you. So here's how this could work. Joe, can you share your screen, and we're going to show you how this program works. It is very, very cool. Okay, Joe, can you just right-click on the screen and unclick using Stacks, because we're using it now? Just there you go. There we go. Okay, so you can see Joe's screen looks very, very messy. Just look at that. Look at all those files across the screen. That's not something you want to see when you first open your computer screen every day, right? That's very confusing, and it will be very hard to find exactly what you're looking for. So to use Stacks, you have to right-click, which means clicking on the right side of your mouse, anywhere on the desktop, anywhere on the screen, you want to right-click on the mouse. And you'll see all these options that will come up. And I think it's the 5th option from the top. It says Use Stacks. And watch what happens when Joe clicks on Use Stacks. All his files are now condensed into organized categories. His folders stay the same, but you can see that Stacks now created a group called Images, it called Documents, called PDF Documents. These were pre-made, like Joe didn't have to make these, Joe didn't assemble these, but because the computer identified these as images, they put them all together. So this is a very, very helpful tip. Now the alternative to this is making folders. And if you right-click on your desktop, you can click on New Folder. That's the first option there. You can drag files into there yourself. If you have a specific way of organizing them, that is also an alternative. Stacks is more of a way for it to do it automatically for you, so you don't have to do it. As you can see that I showed you, documents, images, and PDF documents are the 3 categories that Stacks made for Joe. And if Joe clicks on, let's say, documents, at the top right, he's now opening up the documents category, and all those documents that are in that category will come up, so he can click on any of them specifically. To close it again, he just clicks on documents again, and all those files will condense again. So Stacks is an automatic way to organize your files and the alternative to doing this is doing it yourself, manually sorting the files into folders that you like. So as opposed to images, maybe you want to have a folder regarding the year 2019. You'll put all your folders from that year, in that folder, or from your job and your personal life. You could have 2 folders there. So some people would rather have their own customized folders, and that you could do as well. Okay, let us go back to the presentation. Okay, let us do tip number 6. Joe, can you go back to the, oh no, we're up to tip number 5, sorry. Julia, go ahead. We're now doing changing your desktop backgrounds.
Okay, so when you open your computer, the big picture behind your apps is called your desktop background, and you're able to choose that and change that background on your computer. through the settings or system preferences app on your computer. So if Joe shares his screen, you can see that this gray settings app will allow Joe to change his background on his computer. So when Joe clicks on that app, it will give him the option second to the left, the second option, desktop and screensaver. And this will allow Joe to change his background from the picture he has right now to any other picture that he wants. So there are a couple options that you could see. The first thing is Joe can choose Apple. So these are all pre-made backgrounds that Apple provides for you. And they're pretty simple, colorful, and you can choose from any of these backgrounds and make that the desktop picture on your computer. You can also choose from your own photos. So if you have pictures downloaded on your computer, you can choose a picture of your family or a picture maybe from vacation, and you can scroll through all your pictures and choose one of those, and that will make it your new desktop background. And then the third thing is folders. You could go through all of the folders that you have on your computer and choose any sort of picture. Maybe it's not downloaded in the photos, but it's in one of your folders, so you can choose that. So that's how you would change the desktop picture on your computer. And right next to desktop, you could see this screensaver, which is separate from your desktop. This is when you leave your computer for a couple of minutes and it automatically turns off. Sometimes it will, if it's preset, it could just give you a black screen, or you can make it play a slideshow or play some sort of, show some sort of picture. So every time your screen sort of goes to sleep and you're not using it, instead of just showing a black screensaver, you can set it to show a picture of your family or some sort of slideshow.
Okay, so I just want to mention that if you are on a PC computer, you could do this by right-clicking on your desktop on your main screen and clicking on Change Desktop Background or Change Desktop Wallpaper. You could do this by right-clicking anywhere on the home screen, and this applies to all computers aside from Apple's. Apple, Julia just showed you, for PC computers, you should right-click anywhere on the desktop and click on, it's either change display settings or change wallpaper settings or change screen settings. It's one of those, and you could do it from there. I also just want to welcome and give a shout out. I know a few of you here today are from my self-help class. I want to welcome you. I see that a few of you joined. Thank you for joining today. For those of you who don't know, I run a class on Thursdays in affiliation with Self-Help's UJA program, and there are a few members in class today who are joining from that program. So I just want to welcome them and thank you for joining us today. All right, let's go to number 6. Which is operating the Finder. So if you have not heard of the term Finder before, the Finder is where everything on your computer is kept and stored. On your computer. If you ever lose something, or if you are ever not sure where something is, the Finder is always the place to go. So let's go to your screen, Joe. So the Finder is always at the bottom left of your screen. It's always at the bottom left, and you can see it. It's like a little smiley face. If you hover your mouse over it, it says Finder. I also mentioned before that you can never quit out of the Finder. It will always be there. You can't try quitting out of that app. That app is always open because that's where everything is kept. And if you quit out of that, your computer screen will turn black. It's important that it locks you from quitting that app, so it's always open. And if you click on the Finder, which Joe's going to do now, you can then see all your files and applications on your computer. Now, the equivalence to this on a PC computer is called libraries, and it basically looks like a bunch of folders. If you do use a PC or a Windows computer, you might be familiar with this because anytime you want to open up a picture or a file, you go to that icon that has the folders together. After we finish this, I'll actually pull up a picture of that so you could match what I'm saying with the image. But they work the same way. And if you click on it, you could see that here Joe's recent files. There's a folder called Applications, all the programs he has downloaded on this computer. his desktop, what are the files on his desktop, files that he's downloaded to the computer. Any single thing that Joe has ever done on this computer can be found in the files. And you could also search the Finder, which is at the top right, if you're not sure where something is. So if 5 years ago you were working on some sort of project and you're not sure where you saved it to, whether it was in some folder in your documents or some folder on your desktop, you're not sure where exactly it is, you could open up the Finder, or on Windows opening up libraries, and search in the top right a keyword that will take you to that file. So if Joe types in, let's say, here I see this music thing, Hungarian dance. Just type that in, and you could see that it's now going to pull up every single file that Joe has in his computer that has that keyword. Now, another thing you could do is type in a date. So if you know like the date the file was created, you're not sure what it's called, you could also type in the date of an image or a file, and it will pull up all those images and files that were created on that date or have some affiliation with that day. So the Finder is very helpful. It takes keywords, it takes specific words, and matches them with applications, files, photos, videos on your computer that have those similarities. And this works the exact same way on the Windows computers. I'll actually ask Joe. Joe, can you just open the internet and type in, Chrome, and type in libraries icon, just so I could show them what that looks like on the Windows computer. Okay, so you could see it's this one over here. I'll circle it over here. You might have seen this on your computer, but every time Joe, just move here. Sorry, it's this one over here. It's the third image on the top row from the left. Yeah, so that's what it is, and you should see that on the bottom of your Windows computer. You see that on the bottom of any Windows computer. It will be there. It's called Libraries, and it works the same way as the Finder. All right, let's go back to the presentation. And we are now going to look at tip number 7, which is AirDrop. I know we are going a little fast today, but we will, once we get through the rest of the tips, we will take time and answer your questions before we go into the breakout rooms. All right, Joe, go ahead. Julia, sorry, go ahead.
Okay, so AirDrop is a way to quickly send files or pictures from one device to another, but the two devices must be very close to each other. So you need to be in the same room as somebody in order to send something through AirDrop. But the plus side to using it is that AirDrop allows you to send large files from one device to another. So if you have a long video or a large file, you're able to send that quickly through AirDrop, whereas iMessages might take a long time for it to load, or it might not go through in the end. So the way that you use AirDrop on your phone is by clicking on that AirDrop button, and you can AirDrop things from your phone to your computer. So Joe's going to show you the AirDrop button on your computer. It's in the top sort of window bar of Joe's computer. So if he clicks, so if Joe were to send something to his computer from his phone right now using AirDrop, that icon would come up on Joe's computer, and Joe could accept it on his computer, and it would say accept AirDrop from Joe's iPhone. And when Joe presses accept, it would open this picture or file on Joe's computer. So that's right now Joe AirDropped this picture, and you can see that now this picture is highlighted in blue on Joe's computer, and he can open that up very easily. Okay,
Joe, can you just open that up again, the Finder? All right, so let's say this picture here at the top left, whatever, 0F7, let's say Joe wants to AirDrop that picture. You can right-click on the picture and click on Share. So it's towards the bottom. You're looking for that Share button, and the third option is AirDrop. And if you click on that, it will show you all the devices that are kind of, wait a sec, Joe, that are in the premises that are connected to the same Wi-Fi. So all the devices that you want to AirDrop have to be connected to the same Wi-Fi. You can't do this at like someone else's house when your computer's sitting at home. And you have to be in the same room with both the devices. You can see that Joe's phone is in the room, so his iPhone is coming up. And if Joe clicks on it, it will then transfer the photo or whatever it is to the phone. Now, you might be thinking, what is the difference between this and messages, right? Well, you could just message someone a picture. Why AirDrop? So AirDrop is a lot quicker. Once again, they both have to be on Wi-Fi. Messages, they do not. So AirDrop has to be both on Wi-Fi. And also, if you want to send a large file, sometimes messages won't allow you to send such a big file. AirDrop will, but it will take longer than sending just one picture. So if you're sending a 20-minute video, it will take longer, but AirDrop will allow that to be sent, as opposed to messages, which will say, this file is too large, we can't send it for you. So AirDrop is actually a really cool tip, and it's something that you should look into the next time you want to send something, whether it's a picture, a file, a video, from one of your devices to another. We are now going to look at tip number 8, which is split screen. Now, many of you have asked me about this and how you could do split screen on your computer. This is really, really cool. I definitely want to bring this up today. Split screen on your computer is a way to multitask. It's a way to have more than one thing on your computer at the same time. And we're going to show you both how to do this on the Apple computer as well as a PC computer. So let us go to our home screen, Joe. You need to have 2 programs open, right? Split screen divides your screen down the center, and you could have 2 different things open at the same time. So Joe's now going to open 2 different programs. All right, so you can see that Joe has 2 tabs of Google Chrome, right? Joe, just move to the side. Yeah, great. So you can see that we have our 2 tabs there, 2 different programs. Now, it's hard to see both of them at the same time. And the reason why this would be used a lot is if, let's say, you're writing some sort of paper and you have a resource, or you have like a reference that you want to have next to the paper so you could refer back to it. So this is very helpful when you want to have 2 things aligned next to each other. Now, I'm going to first show you on the Apple computer, and then we will go to the Windows computer. If Joe clicks on either tab, on either of the 2 tabs, the green button at the top left of the screen, and he holds down on that for about 2 or 3 seconds, he's going to see a few options that will come up, allowing him to place the tab on either side of the screen. So you could see that Joe could either drag it to the left or to the right. So Joe's going to leave it on the left and let go. And you can see that it now perfectly fit across the left half of the screen. And then it will give you an option to click on any other tabs Joe has open. In this case, it's only one, and Joe can click on that tab. And you can see that now Joe completely split his screen half and half, so that he can be working on those 2 files at the same time. Now, if you need one of those applications to be bigger than the other, Joe could increase that by using that tool in the middle and dragging left or right. Does everyone see that? By dragging left to right, you could increase how big or how small each of those files actually are. Okay. Now, if you are on a Windows or a PC computer, this is very similar in terms of how you do it, but there are a few differences I'm going to mention. None of us actually have PC computers, so I'm just going to explain it. It should be pretty simple for you to do. So, give me one second. You know what? What I'm actually going to do is I'm going to give me one second. I'm going to screen share and show you just a 30-second video, which is going to explain it probably better than me. One second. Let's see. Okay, I'll explain because I don't like this guy's tone. If you see at the top of this, if you see we have one browser open right now, right? This is, I think, is the internet. And if you click at the top of the screen, like he's about to do, right? His mouse is at the top. You click on it, and you drag to either the left or the right of the screen. It will then perfectly kind of align and divide halfway through the screen. You could see that as opposed to Apple, which is holding down that green button, you just have to click and hold on the banner at the top, this like area at the top, and drag either left or right, and you see it how it perfectly aligned across the screen, allowing you to have two programs open at the same time, split exactly down the middle. So once again, to use split screen on a computer, on a PC computer, you have to have two applications open, right? That's for both Apple and PC. You need to have two programs open first. Then you should drag using the banner on either application. You drag to the right or to the left. It will align right, and then same to the other. You use the banner, you drag left or right, and those both will align in the center so that you could split screen and have two programs open at the same time. Okay. So next, we're going to be looking at our next tip is keyboard settings. Joe, can you just go to, yeah, go to that. Keyboard settings, there are, obviously we use the keyboard most for typing in letters, for typing in sentences, for typing in different words and keyboards. But there are a few other things you could do in terms of settings regarding your keyboard. So I'm going to screen share for this. Here we go. Okay, so on both Windows and Apple computers, you want to start this by opening up settings, system preferences or settings, that like gear, let's say a gear on your computer. You want to look for that and open up settings. And from there, you could change your keyboard settings. Over here, you're looking for, there's the keyboard. Once I open settings, it's on the the fourth row, and it says keyboard. So everyone see that? It says keyboard right over there, and if you click on that, you'll have the ability to see everything you could do regarding keyboard settings. I'm going to explain only the ones I think are relevant to you. Starting with this second tab, which says text. This is very helpful. It's called shortcuts, and you can type in a few letters or a keyword, and it will type in something longer. So for example, if I type in, let's say JM, and I want it to replace to Jordan Mittler, you can then type that in. So every time I type in JM, my computer will switch to Jordan Mittler. And this is helpful when you have something long. Let's say you send an email out 5 times a day saying, thanks for reaching out. Please call me when you have a chance. Like that phrase, you could have that whole line or two appear with just the word like email. You could use that as your keyword and it will appear. So I'll actually show you what this looks like now since we put in the JM to Jordan Mittler. Let me open up just a blank document so we can see how this works. So I'm now going to type in JM, and you're going to see what happens. I'll make the text as big as possible so you can see. All right, that should be big enough. So I'm now going to type in JM, and you could see that the computer is auto-correcting these two letters to Jordan Mittler, and it just switched. It's very easy to use once you've created the shortcut. So to create the shortcut, you once again open keyboard settings by clicking on keyboard over here, and you type in. There's 2 columns: replace and with. So you want to replace what with what. You could just type in what you want to replace it with, and what you want to replace by clicking on the plus at the bottom left. It will then add a line for you where you can input the information. To delete one, you just click on the minus as opposed to the plus. So if I want to delete the JM, I click on the minus and it's now gone. The OMW is on everyone's computer automatically. That's kind of the first one that will appear as the demo. OMW translates to on my way. You could do the same thing with like texting terms, like people used, THX for thanks. You could have that corrected to the correct spelling. So this is pretty helpful and actually pretty cool. So I definitely recommend giving this a try. If I go to input sources, which is our 4th category, here you can control the languages, the languages which you could type using your keyboard. Right now I have 2, US and Hebrew. To add a language, you click on the plus at the bottom left. And it will give you all the different languages, right? Every single one, and also different types. Like you could see that if I go to, there are a bunch of languages that you have those parentheses, meaning there's more than one type, and you can click on any of these, and it will be added into your keyboard. You click on add once you've clicked on it, and it will now appear in this list, and you could easily switch between the keyboard between the languages, and you could change it at the top right of your screen. You see that there's that American flag, meaning I'm now typing in English. But if I click on it, I could then easily switch to, let's say, Hebrew. And now it says, now there's an aleph at the top, meaning I'm now typing in Hebrew, but you could switch easily between the two. And you could have as many languages as you want, depending on how often you're typing in those other languages. And you could easily switch between those at the top of the screen. You'll typically see the American flag because you'll be on English most of the time. Once you click on it, you could adjust to another language. Once again, by going to settings or system preferences, clicking on keyboard, and going to input sources, where you'll find your languages, and then text for inputting phrases that you want to replace, and what you want to replace it with. Now there's one more thing I want to show you regarding keyboard, and that is Command F. I think we did a unit on Microsoft Word here, or on Pages, in the past few weeks. And Command F is used to find something on your computer. I showed it to you in reference to Microsoft Word, because if you have a 50-page document and you want to find a specific sentence, you could just use your Command F, which is to find something and type in what you're looking for. So once again, on PC computers, Command replaces with Control. So you're clicking on Control F as opposed to Command F on Apple computers. And if you click on it, on your desktop, it will say searching the Mac, and you could type in anything, any sort of keyword, and it will find what you're looking for. This is similar to what we were showing you when we were looking at the Finder. So once again, Command F is to find something. Anytime you've lost something and you want to find it, you can click on Command F or Control F on a PC computer. If you are in a document, like a 50-page document, you could also use Command or Control F to find a specific sentence or keyword. I will ask you to type in, once you've clicked on Command F, to type in like a word or a sentence or some sort of phrase, and it will detect everywhere on that document that sentence appears or that phrase appears, allowing you to spend a lot less time scanning through the pages in order to find some sort of phrase or keyword. So we are now going to look at our final tip, which is screenshots. Julia, I'll pass it over to you.
Okay, so there are two different types of screenshots that you can take on a computer. And on a Mac, you're going to be using that Command button, Shift, and 4 in order to take a screenshot. But on a PC or a Windows computer, it would be the same thing, but Control, Shift, and 4. And so by clicking on those 3 buttons at the same time, you're going to be taking a screenshot on your computer, and you are able to drag a specific box on your computer and take a picture. So right now, if Jordan holds down those Command, Shift, and 4 buttons at the same time, you can see that this little plus button emerges on Jordan's computer. And if he holds down, he's able to select a part of the screen, and anything that he selects in that box will be part of this screenshot that Jordan's taking. So if Jordan now lets go of his mouse, he could see that this screenshot that he just took of his desktop is now appearing on his desktop. It says screenshot, and when Jordan clicks on that, that's the image that Jordan just took on his computer. So you can see that everything that was in that box that Jordan selected is now in this new screenshot that Jordan has made. So the way that Jordan has taken the screenshot is by holding down Command, Shift, and the number 4 all at the same time. And once he does that, that plus button emerges, and then he's able to drag across his screen, and anything in that box is now in the new picture. And again, on a Windows computer, instead of doing Command, Shift, and 4, you would be holding down the keys Control, Shift, and 4. Now, the other type of screenshot that you're able to take is by holding down Command, Shift, and 3. And the difference between the two is when you hold down Command, Shift, and 3, it's going to take a picture of your entire desktop. So instead of just dragging and making a small square on your computer and only taking a picture of a specific part of your desktop, by holding down Command, Shift, 3, you take a picture of the entire screen. and everything that's on your screen is now in the screenshot. So Jordan just held down Command Shift and 3, and you could see that this screenshot has a picture of his entire desktop, everything that was on it, and not just a specific part of it. And you could see that these two screenshots were saved on Jordan's desktop, one beneath the other, both labeled screenshot. And on a PC, you would hold down Control Shift 3 or Control Shift 4 instead of Command Shift 3 and Command Shift 4.
Great. So this is very, very helpful when you want to take either a piece or the entire computer screen and take a picture of it. We actually showed you a few weeks ago how to do this on your phone, which is by clicking that home button and the power button at the same time to take a screenshot of what's on your phone. You could do the same thing on your computer by clicking Command Shift 4 for a selection of the screen or Command Shift 3 for the entire screen. And for Windows, you just replace that Command button with Control.